Is it soup season yet? The answer is yes. It is always soup season. I love soup all the time. And so today for dinner, we are going to make a killer Instant Pot potato soup. So stick around. What's up, everybody? My name is Susie Weinrich, and welcome to Mom's Dinner. Here at Mom's Dinner, we help adults feel successful at dinner time. So if that sounds good to you, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But before we get started with the recipe, let's talk about just a couple little tips with your Instant Pot. So this is my Instant Pot. I actually use the 6-quart Duo Plus 9-in-1. I also have the 6-quart Duo Plus 7-in-1. They're both wonderful, and I will link both of them for you down in the notes. Now we're going to start this recipe on sauté mode. So your sauté button is right down here, and you're going to press it. It's going to take you to just normal heat. That's going to be great for like sautéing onions, for browning vegetables. Now that means that it's accepted our setting. Now there's other options. You can also hit that sauté button one more time. It will take it to high, or it will take it to low. The high setting is going to be for more like wok style cooking or browning large pieces of meat. And the low setting is going to be more like keeping things warm. But for this recipe, we're going to just put it on normal and get to chopping the vegetables. All right, now that you know how to use that sauté function with your Instant Pot, we're gonna add just a little bit of oil to sauté an onion and some garlic. So I'm gonna add about, I don't know, a tablespoon or two down into the Instant Pot. You could use olive oil or just a vegetable oil or canola oil will all work. We just wanna get a little small dice on this. You don't want huge chunks of onion in your potato soup. Ooh. This is a really strong onion. Onions down into the Instant Pot, and then we're going to chop up a garlic clove. We're going to get these 3 garlic cloves all chopped up and get those added in with the onions just for a couple minutes so they can soften and develop flavor before we get to cooking in the pressure mode. All right, the onions are looking nice and soft. It looks like their flavor has developed, and so I'm gonna turn off the sauté mode. You just hit that little cancel button there, and we're gonna go on to the potatoes. Whenever I buy potatoes for a recipe, I always buy at least 1, maybe 2 extra potatoes, because once you start peeling them, you never know if you're gonna get a crazy potato underneath that has a lot of brown spots. This one is a perfect example. There you go. The inside has all of this brownness. I don't wanna use this potato. So luckily, I bought a bunch of potatoes so I can throw this one out and get a new potato. The other little tip about your potato peeler is the very end of it actually has a little scooper on it. So when you're peeling your potatoes, let's say you had a little eye on the potato or like a little brown spot, you can actually use the end of the peeler to just dig that out. The other question is, are you a back peeler like that? Are you a forward peeler like that? Or this one's really crazy. I hope I can do it on this potato. Are you a back and forth peeler like that? Since these are pretty small potatoes, I may actually only need to, let's see, I'm gonna half them, and then I'm gonna cut them into just 3s. So you want about pieces about that big, like 1.5 inches, and that's gonna cook really quickly in the Instant Pot. So we're gonna get these potatoes added, and actually, I need to measure 3 cups. Now it's time to add some flavor. We're gonna start with half a teaspoon of garlic powder and half a teaspoon of onion powder. Then we need half a teaspoon of something called Lawry's seasoned salt. Lawry's is really the brand, so if you find a seasoned salt that's kind of orange in color, then that's probably the right one. Then black pepper to taste. Now this is one of the secret ingredients that we use for a lot of chicken soups and potato soup. It's something called chicken base, and you can find it in the soup aisle near the bouillon and the chicken broth and chicken stock, but it comes in a jar and it's in kind of like a paste form. It will create tons of flavor in your soup. So we just need to add 1 tablespoon, and I'm getting a little low. I'm just gonna eyeball this, 1 tablespoon to the soup. All right, it's almost time to cook. Finally, I'm gonna add 1 bay leaf to the pot, and then I'm gonna add 4 cups of chicken broth or chicken stock. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of this recipe, is that it has a 4-minute cook time, which is crazy, but trust me, those potatoes cook down perfectly tender in 4 minutes. Now we're gonna get the settings all set up. You want to cook just in pressure or manual mode. It's going to be high pressure, normal heat, and we're going to take it down to 4 minutes, and then it should beep at us here in just a second. There it goes. That just means that the pot has accepted our settings, and then it's going to start to come to pressure, and then as soon as it comes to pressure, this will start to count down, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then at the 0 point, we'll do the pressure release. The 4 minutes is already up. That was incredibly fast. So now what we want to do, and I'm going to grab a little wooden spoon to do this, and I'm going to grab a little towel because I have some nice lights up here that I don't want to get a lot of steam on them. So there's a little lever here on top. We're actually just going to tap that to vent, and all the steam is going to escape. Ready? So the first thing you want to do actually is take out the bay leaf. You do not want to leave that in. That just adds some nice flavor to the soup, but you don't eat the actual bay leaf. So we'll take that out. So this next step, you want to actually start to break down some of the potatoes that are in there. You don't necessarily want big chunks of potatoes. You want it to have kind of a nice texture in there of like coarse potatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and mash those in, and you can use just the back of a wooden spoon like I'm doing here, or you could get an immersion blender out and blend up some of these potatoes. All right, that looks really good. Now here is another secret to amazing potato soup, and stick with me, promise. Instant mashed potatoes, just potato flakes. Now, I wouldn't use this product in my kitchen to actually make mashed potatoes, but it definitely has a place in your kitchen, and thickening and giving really good creamy texture to potato soup is exactly what you want to use it for. I promise. Please give it a try. So what you want to do is get about 3/4 of a cup of those potato flakes, and we're just going to start to stir them in, and it's making my mouth water. It's going to make such a thick and rich potato soup. Now when you're putting them in, you may think, oh, that doesn't look very thick. Give them just a few minutes because you want them to absorb some of that broth, and they will start to expand and get thick. So you don't want to add too many, otherwise you're going to end up with mashed potatoes. Then the other ingredients that we're going to add to make this nice and creamy is 1/2 cup of half and half. And then we're going to add in some. Today I have a Greek yogurt. You can either use Greek yogurt or you can use sour cream. Both will work. All right, so we're gonna stir that down in there until that sour cream or Greek yogurt gets completely melted down in there, and the soup is so creamy and delicious. This potato soup is looking really, really good. So what I want to do now that the Greek yogurt has just melted down into the soup, is I want to let it just sit and cool and thicken for about 5 minutes, and then it will be time to eat. I hope that you make this Instant Pot potato soup for dinner at your house, and if you do, I would love it if you would comment below and let me know how it turned out for you and what you served it with. And as always, I hope that this recipe makes you feel like a success at dinner time. So until next week, see ya.